Hey there, folks. Welcome back. This week, we're diving into the story of the RAH-66 Comanche, the world's first stealth helicopter, and one that nearly became the most powerful chopper ever built. But before we get into it, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and smash that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. All right, let's rewind to 1982. That's when the U.S. Army kicked off the Light Helicopter Experimental Program, LHX for short. The mission: replace an entire fleet, the UH-1 Huey, the AH-1 Cobra, and the OH-6 and OH-58 Scout Helos. Sounds ambitious, right? Trying to do it all in one bird. Picture this: a small helicopter that can carry troops like a Huey, strike like a Cobra, and do recon like a Kiowa, all in one compact frame. That's not just ambitious, it's just a full-on wish list. Now the pressure was on. The US needed a helicopter like this fast. At the time, the Soviet Union cast a long shadow over Europe and the West, with nearly 100,000 tanks ready to roll. Yeah, you heard that right, 100,000. To counter all that armor, the US leaned hard into attack helicopters, especially the AH-1 Cobra, which had already proven itself in Vietnam. Large numbers were deployed across Europe, ready for the fight. But the Soviets didn't just sit back. They responded by flooding their forces with manpads, shoulder-fired missile systems meant to take helicopters out of the sky. And these weren't just basic heat seekers. They came with advanced guidance systems, making them tougher to dodge, and a serious threat to Western air power. So, with all these threats stacking up, the US realized it needed something new fast. They explored a lot of options, but it became clear trying to do everything in one platform was just too much. So they made the call: drop the troop transport role. No more UH-1 style ride-alongs. In 1988, the Army issued an official request for proposal for a dedicated attack reconnaissance helicopter. By October that year, two teams were in: Boeing Sikorsky and Bell McDonnell Douglas. Both got to work. In 1990, the Army renamed the program the Light Helicopter Project, or LH. Then, in April 1991, a major milestone was reached. The Army awarded Boeing Sikorsky a $2.8 billion contract to build 6 prototypes. And with that, the RAH-66 Comanche was born. Fast forward 2.5 years, in November 1993, the first prototype was coming together. Work was underway at Sikorsky's Stratford plant and Boeing's facility in Philadelphia. Now, here's where things started to feel a little shaky, and honestly, you can't blame them. The Army and the Boeing Sikorsky team were deep into development, but the timing? Not great, because just then, the Cold War collapsed, and with it, the whole defense game flipped. Suddenly, the urgency for next-gen weapons was gone. And for a lot of programs, that was basically the kiss of death. Then came December 9th, 1994. At a press conference, Defense Secretary William Perry made it official. Production plans for several high-tech systems were being cut or delayed, including the F-22, the Navy's new attack sub, and, yep, the Army's Comanche. The cuts were meant to save $7.7 billion. Some of that went into boosting soldier pay. And the Comanche, only 2 prototypes would be built instead of 6. The first Comanche prototype rolled out of Sikorsky's plant on May 25th, 1995. Its maiden flight was set for August that year, but delays from structural and software tweaks pushed it back. Eventually, the first flight took place on January 4th, 1996, a 39-minute hop over West Palm Beach, Florida. The second prototype didn't take off until March 30th, 1999. And by then, let's be honest, the program was still young, and only 2 of the originally planned 6 prototypes had materialized. That's when the Government Accountability Office raised a red flag. They reported that, by 2008, the Comanche could be eating up nearly 2/3 of the Army's entire aviation budget. But even with all that pressure, the military didn't flinch. They were sold on what the Comanche could do. The plan? Over 1,200 units, with first deliveries expected by 2006. So what kind of helicopter was the Comanche that made it so hard for the US military to walk away from? First and foremost, it was dead serious about stealth. Every part of its design was optimized to keep it hidden from enemy eyes. There were no external weapon mounts. None. Everything was tucked into internal weapon bays to reduce radar signature. The landing gear? Retractable, just like on a fighter jet. Even the cannon, normally sticking out front, could fold back into the body when not in use. The airframe itself was made of composite materials, making it naturally harder to pick up on radar. And then they took it further, coating the entire surface with radar-absorbent materials and infrared-suppressing paint. The result? One of the stealthiest rotorcraft designs ever built. Under the hood, the Comanche ran on twin turboshaft engines from RAH-66, a Rolls-Royce and Honeywell joint venture. Each pumped out 1,560 horsepower, over 50% more than typical engines, while staying fuel efficient. Plus, a cooling system cut exhaust heat, making it harder for heat-seeking missiles to lock on. But stealth wasn't just about dodging radar. Helicopters are loud thanks to those rotors. The Comanche fixed that with 5 composite blades and a bearingless hub to slash noise and vibration. The tail rotor? Enclosed in a shroud quieter and tougher against enemy fire. End result? just 63 to 72 decibels, about as loud as a car. And durability. The airframe could shrug off 23mm rounds. Even the tail rotor was built to withstand .50 cal hits. That's next-level survivability most choppers can't match. When it came to avionics, the Comanche was basically a mini F-22 in helicopter form. The pilot's helmet displayed real-time sensor data right on the visor, boosting situational awareness. It packed night vision, GPS, friend, or foe ID, and a 3D moving map, giving it night combat skills rivaling the Apache. Now, let's talk firepower. It carried a 3-barrel 20mm cannon, firing 750 to 1,500 rounds per minute, with 500 rounds on board. Inside its weapon base, 6 Hellfires for ground targets or 12 Stingers for air defense. Need more firepower? Ditch stealth, add external wings, and double the payload, 8 more Hellfires or 16 Stingers. Combat range, 2,200 kilometers. Top speed, over 300 kilometers per hour. It was built to fight and built to win. By 2002, the 2 Comanche prototypes had logged solid flight time, 287 and 103 hours. They proved themselves in night ops, weapons tests, even pulled a 180-degree turn in just 5 seconds, all while hitting speeds near 319 kilometers per hour. But even with those wins, the winds were shifting. In 2002, the Army cut the Comanche order from 1,200 to 650. That bumped up unit costs, but they still believed in it and kept going. By 2003, a 3rd prototype was underway, with plans for 8 more in testing. Then came the pivot. On February 23, 2004, the Army pulled the plug. The Comanche was canceled, budget cuts, and new priorities. Funding shifted to upgrade existing attack, transport, and reconnaissance helicopters, and part of it went straight into UAVs, a clear sign of where things were headed. After 20 years and $6.9 billion, the Comanche program, built around cutting-edge tech to create the ultimate helicopter, was ultimately scrapped. And it didn't stop there. Even after Comanche, the Army shut down another big project, the Future Attack Reconnaissance Aircraft, or FARA, after sinking $2 billion into it. So, is this the end of the helicopter era? Let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.